Peace and understanding. Today is May 26th. I want to shout out my family that observes, listens to my information. Thank you for taking time out your busy schedule to tune in. I wanted to start off by first sending my deepest condolences to the student at Southern University and her family that a tragedy occurred there. And we want to send out our deepest condolences to those that have lost a loved one. On a brighter note, we want to congratulate all the Southern University graduates and just the graduates from all HBCUs that took it upon themselves to matriculate to higher ed and to try to move their lives forward. We want to support and salute their efforts. Also, on a local level, we want to acknowledge the high school students that have gone forward and pushed and finally made it to the end of the road. So, good deal and shout out on that. Now, speaking again with the tragedy that occurred at Southern University, I know unless you've been under a rock, you are aware of the deaths that have occurred with the shootings in Buffalo and more recently the shooting which has occurred in Texas. Such a travesty and such a loss of life where we continue to play politics with the lives of our children and the gun control laws. Something has to be done, not only in a legal sense, but we need to attempt to address mental health as well as just the conditions in which the environments that produce or give birth to these circumstances. Of course, every individual in America should have the right to own a firearm. No one is saying that that should not be the case. But personally, from my vantage point, this is America. We're dealing with a capitalistic system. I just personally feel that we should not, that these multi-militia military type weapons should just not be on the street. Anytime if you've gone back and looked at the data that pertains to any of these shootings, whether it was Columbine and the trench coat mafia or anyone that has been documented, you will see that there were automatic, semi-automatic weapons. All of them would kill you. Hell, a 22 pistol will still bring you to your demise. But the loss of lives, and for what? For the most part, for these things to occur, you need to have, an alienated person, an alienated group, or a disenfranchised group with an agenda. The young man appeared to be Hispanic, and this was in a Hispanic community, and it really disheartened me to see the loss of life. And furthermore, if you watch the news, you'll see that the guy actually had an altercation with his grandmother initially, attempted to bring harm to his grandmother through some kind of argument about a phone bill. I don't understand. I want to, but it is just so disheartening to try to grasp my mind and comprehend those individuals that will bring harm on a large scale to innocent people, children that were lives abruptly smeared out, 8 and 9 and 7 years old. such a travesty. Other countries are watching the United States on a large scale. And if you look at it, you never really hear. If I'm mistaken, someone please leave a comment to point out that these type of events don't necessarily happen often on foreign soil. Do you ever hear of incidents where lives were taken by civilians? Yeah, you hear the things with the bombers and the suicide bombers in foreign countries in the so-called Middle East. But for the most part, someone just going into a McDonald's and killing people. If it may be an isolated incident. I really don't have all the data on that, so I'm not sure. But it is a shame. It is all over the news, and my heart is heavy for the senseless lives that were lost, and something must be done to attack the root of the problem. But we are too busy arguing about religion and solutions that come from outside of ourselves. We are here. We have to address and attack these solutions here and now. Nothing is going to happen magically. Nothing is going to just stop these events from occurring. We have to move away and transition from that thought process. We have to come up with real, tangible solutions that will help us move away, that will help us strive toward becoming a greater nation, a greater people. Again, my heart goes out to the people in Buffalo, grandmas and mothers, people of color, who've lost their lives. I want to transition over to, this is not just a gloom and doom topic. We're just talking today. But I'm a big fan of Nipsey Hussle. Love his music. And I was going through YouTube looking at some other information and ran into a series of gang-related topics. And I kind of never really understood the whole gang culture. So I've been kind of delving into that, looking and just watching the videos, the Hoovers and the Rolling 60s and the Rolling 20s and the Bloods and the 8-Tray Gangsters and all of that. Just looking at the infrastructure and how these things work and why. I mean, the one thing I really take away from that, again, that young black men are fighting for areas of terrain in this society that we don't even own. We're claiming streets that the city and the state owns, and we are dying for the hood, for the set. And how do you live like that? I just wanted to get a little clarity on it. Some of you may know. Please leave a comment, because I am dumbfounded by the logic of it, that someone can't go into a neighborhood to visit a family member, et cetera, without the whole thing. I didn't want to go into great detail about that. That's just something that I looked at and I wanted to point out. So, but again, shout out to all the recent graduates in higher ed as well as high school. The world is yours if you set a goal, set a plan, that time frame from 18 to 21. If you can really grasp and find your niche and what you want to do, that can be that springboard area towards success. If you set an agenda and set goals and attempt to lay a brick every day. You want to be successful. You want to strive. You have to have a plan. Nothing is just going to happen and fall in your lap unless you win the lotto or you come from money and have a big inheritance. But other than that, things aren't going to just happen for you. Okay? So on one side, congratulations. On the other side, my deepest condolences goes out to those who lost a loved one in Buffalo, in Uvalde, Texas, hell, Columbine, any of these places that happen where these people have these weapons, malicious style weapons, and bring harm to others. Hell, we as blacks have enough issues to address. So, peace, and remember, always investigate the information you receive. If it is indeed the truth, it should stand the test of investigation. Peace.